Have you ever hit that wall? That feeling where you're just done? We tend to think of burnout as some kind of personal failure, right? Like, I just couldn't hack it. But what if that's totally wrong? What if it's not about you, but about the system you're running? That's exactly what we're going to dig into. We're going to completely reframe how you see burnout.
Yeah, this quote right here, it's everything. An absolute biological and energetic system crash. It's not weakness. So let's run with that idea. Let's think about burnout like a computer crashing. And I know it might sound like just a metaphor, but stick with me, because it's a really powerful way to shift your thinking. It takes you out of the victim seat and makes you the architect, the one with the blueprint to rebuild everything stronger than before.
All right, let's get into it. Part 1, System Overdrive. This is what I call the deception phase. It's that slow, sneaky descent where the path to burnout is actually paved with really good intentions and a whole lot of self-talk that's, well, pretty destructive.
Okay, take a look at this. Does any of this internal code sound familiar? I must do it. Just one more thing. Oh, I'm not tired, I'm just busy. This is that faulty programming running on a loop in the background. And while that's happening, your system, your body, is flashing these warning lights. Sleep getting weird? Waking up already exhausted? That's not just a case of the Mondays. That's a critical alert. It's your body basically saying, hey, I'm not getting my nightly repairs done.
So what's really happening here system-wise? Well, your mind is like a runaway train that's jumped the tracks, and your body is sending up all these flares, the exhaustion, the bad sleep, but your willpower, it's just hitting the override switch. You're basically forcing your own hardware, your nervous system, to stay in this constant red alert mode, just burning through fuel reserves that it was never, ever meant to use like this.
And that leads us right into part 2, system friction. Because when you ignore those warnings for long enough, things start to, well, short circuit. Wires get crossed, components start to overheat, and you can feel the sparks start to fly.
And what happens is that friction turns inward. You start telling yourself, it's my fault. I just need to try harder. But all that pressure has to go somewhere, and it starts leaking out. Lashing out at people you love, crying for no reason. That's not a flaw in your character. Not at all. Those are symptoms. That's literally the sound of your system short-circuiting under way too much pressure. Think of it like sparks flying off an overloaded power outlet.
So let's look at this system level again. What's happening is a complete disconnect. Your brain is still screaming, go, 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 but your heart, the part of you that connects, that feels empathy, it's basically gone offline. You're running on pure adrenaline, and you have to understand, adrenaline is like taking out a high-interest loan from your own body. You can do it for a little while, but the bill always comes due. And when you're stuck in that fight-or-flight mode, real empathy, it's not just hard, it becomes biologically impossible.
And all of this builds and builds until you get to part 3, the system crash. This is it. This is the moment your system can't take the friction anymore. It's the blue screen of death, a total, necessary hard reboot that the main operating system kicks in on its own. And this is what rock bottom feels like. It's that moment the I'm fine mask just completely shatters. You feel totally lost, like you're adrift in the ocean with no land in sight. And the guilt can be overwhelming. You feel like you failed somehow. And the only question left in your mind is this desperate, how do I get out of this?
It feels like a total disaster, right? The end of everything. So why? Why would your own system let this happen? What makes a crash like this necessary?
Here's the big twist. The crash isn't the disaster. It's the rescue mission. It's a built-in safety protocol. Your own operating system is pulling the emergency brake to stop you from doing permanent damage to the hardware, to your body. Even the crying, that's part of it. It's not weakness. It's literally your body's way of detoxing, of flushing out all those stress hormones to get back to a baseline.
Okay, so after the crash comes part 4, reconstruction. The system has been wiped clean, and from that empty space, that's when you can start the real work. The work of being an architect and drawing up a brand new blueprint for yourself. A better one, a more resilient one.
So every good architect needs a toolkit, right? Here's yours. First, you get to tame that internal dialogue. You become a coder, and you rewrite that awful I must command into a powerful I choose. Second, you work on reconnecting the hardware. You bring your heart and brain back into sync using the most powerful tools there are, rest and routine. It's that simple. And finally, once the system is stable, you get to widen your horizon, to shift from just surviving to actually creating again.
And this brings us to the last stage, part 5,
the architect's final test. Because even with the perfect blueprint, there's one massive challenge left. It's something I call the timeline paradox. This deep conflict between how your mind wants to heal and how your body actually heals.
And this right here, this explains so much of the frustration during recovery. Look, your software, your mind, it gets it. It understands the new plan in a split second. It's ready to go, full speed ahead. But your hardware, your body, it works on a completely different clock, a biological clock. It needs real, linear time to repair cells and tissues. You know, you can't scream at a tree to grow faster, right? It's the same thing. You can't get mad at your body for needing time to heal. And that feeling, that frustration, that impatience, that's resistance. Think of it as the final boss in this whole recovery game. Because here's the secret. Fighting against the slowness, that is the old pattern. That's the exact same thinking that caused the crash to begin with. So this is the ultimate test. Are you really going to hit that manual override button again?
So what's the solution? How do you beat the final boss? It's the architect's secret weapon. Surrender. Now, I know that word sounds weak, like giving up. But in this context, it is the most powerful move you can possibly make. Accepting your body's timeline isn't weakness. It's what gives your system the all-clear signal it needs to do its repair work. And, funnily enough, it's actually the fastest path to a real, lasting recovery.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. A question to really ask yourself. When you feel that impatience, that resistance creeping in, are you just trying to slap some duct tape on the old broken system just to get it up and running again? Or are you truly ready to step into your role as the architect, to accept the timeline, trust the process, and build something entirely new, something more resilient, more you?